Guru Nation, welcome to episode 146 of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru.
You told me it was 150 something.
146, but I could be very wrong. Sponsored by Ajax.
We're sponsored now?
I wish we were sponsored by Ajax. They got money. This is Johnson & Johnson, no, Colgate Company.
They have money too.
So, we're talking about a lot of things. First thing I wanted to tell you, we have some site selection visits. Another thing I wanted to tell you, and we're not going to get into that one controversial story just yet. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We've got to think about that one. But I picked up some tricks of the trade, if you will, when I was monitoring. So one of my sites, I did a mini video on this. And I actually wanted to get your thoughts because I think we could implement this at both of our sites that we manage day to day.
Okay.
So one of the things that they do,
The site.
Yeah, the site. Their site director was trained by ACRP, so maybe it is worth it to get paid. I mean, they learned this from somewhere.
Okay.
So one of the things they do, they're really focused on keeping monitors happy.
Sure.
And one of the things they did, so I got in there, I'm the CRA, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coordinator, who is a very good coordinator, brought me the stuff. Before I asked for anything, she started telling me about the previous action items from my last report and the status of them.
Oh, very good.
What does that do for me as a CRA?
Makes your job easier.
There you go. Saves me time.
Yep.
Because that's the first thing I would do when I start working. But she just did that for me.
Now, as she's telling you, she's showing you the resolution as
Yeah.
well? Okay.
Yeah, and it took me until like the second one for me to realize what she's doing.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm like, at the end of my visit, I told her, I said, that's a really good idea. And she said, yeah, we're trained specifically to do that. I think we should do that here.
Yeah.
On who?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a good
Starting
system.
immediately.
Yeah, it's a great system.
It's a perfect timing too. We get a new study starting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about making sure they do it. Right? But isn't it fantastic?
It's just the implementation. Once you're doing it, I don't think it'd be hard to follow up.
Yeah, someone on Instagram is saying that's my favorite coordinators ever. I know. And guess what? Like, when monitors get to recommend a site again,
Sure.
which ones are they going to do? The ones that save them time
Sure.
and
The ones that are
stress?
easy to work with or the ones that are difficult?
Or the ones that made them cry and age them 5 years?
And become an alcoholic.
They're going to look like Obama at the end of 8-year term.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Which one would you prefer?
Yep.
So, that's the strategy. Will you implement that immediately here? I think at the other clinic it's easier because I think she's already kind of doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make sure she does it now, and
Sure.
she'll run with it. I know her.
Here
It's a little tougher,
the next study that we have that opens a new
which we have what, 2?
2 starting very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could make this podcast episode whatever it is.
You said 146.
Hopefully it's 146. It could be
So you're just
156. It could be 156.
That's where we're gonna look.
Let me look right now. But anyways, I was gonna make this podcast episode regardless of what episode it is. Yeah, 146. Why are you always making me second guess myself?
Because you told me 150 something earlier.
No, I said exactly what I read.
No, I mean before we started this.
Yeah.
Like an hour ago or 2 hours ago.
That's when I messed up. So we could make episode 146 about how to keep monitors happy.
Mm-hmm.
We could make it a little smorgasbord. Just mix it up a little, right? We could talk about site selections. We're doing one right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is our second PI's second SSB.
This one's gonna be. I don't know if I should say this as it's being recorded, but
Yeah, go ahead. Nobody's watching.
so this one's gonna be interesting too because she told me when you weren't in there. She's like, so I have a few questions you can answer for me. So we went through a few and she goes, yeah, I think that's it for you. The rest are in regards to the feasibility questionnaire, and I'll ask those of the doctor.
Okay, so
And I'll ask those of the doctor.
did you coach him?
No, I haven't seen him since.
Do we want this study?
Yeah, I think this is a study we can do, but
So when we see him, we gotta go.
But the
get
problem
him.
is-
This is why we're sitting right here. We can see everyone
Sure.
that comes in. I wish you guys can see it.
But
that are watching. I could show you.
I didn't fill out that feasibility question. I have no idea what the questions are going to be she's going to ask.
Yeah.
Well,
This is what we're looking at.
There's
That's the entrance.
There's no way to preempt him on how to handle these questions.
Okay,
There's no way to guide him.
So what are we gonna do?
I don't know. That's my point. This
So
one's going to be
let's
interesting
think
too.
through this on the podcast in public. He must have learned something from the last SSP.
So here's a couple things. Once she said that, I was more truthful than I may have been otherwise to her questions. Like,
Okay.
she asked, how long has he been a PI? I said he hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
But then you finished strong with adding that our other PI
yes,
has
and
like 35 years of
and that was
experience.
intentional.
Yeah.
He has no experience as a PI because he's not going to be able to answer those questions.
Oh,
Whatever
so
she's
you were
going to ask.
truthful.
Yeah, because if I had said, oh, he's been a PI for 5 years, she's going to know as soon as she asks that first question, he can't answer it.
So let's see how he does. I think he learned.
It's going to be just like the last one.
I don't think so. There's infinite growth from the first to the second.
From no experience whatsoever to some.
Because even as a coordinator, as a CRA, as anything, my second time around is way better than my first.
Oh, sure.
For anything I do.
I would hope true of everybody.
My second website I built was way better than the first.
Well,
My second anything is way better than the first.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So keeping CRAs happy, you think this is important? Or you think it's overrated?
Okay, so.
Monica likes to bring them coffee
Sure.
and scones,
Sure.
and she spoils them. And some refuse. They say, no, we're not allowed to. Every CRO SOP is different.
Yeah.
If someone offered me food as a CRA, I'd eat it.
Sure. Regardless of
I don't
what
care what
they
the
say.
SOP say, but that's because I don't really necessarily care if I get fired. So, disclaimer to anyone watching, if you need your job, you should probably look at your SOPs and follow
It
it.
was instructed.
Yes.
So, keeping CRAs happy. So, I think just from a humanitarian level, I think it's nice, right?
Humanitarian.
Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but from person to person, right? Being kind to another,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Keeping them happy. I think just in general, that's a good rule or principle to follow.
Do you have we ever sent a monitor a gift?
No. However, we've taken monitors out for lunch. We've got, went out and purchased lunch for them.
And there's nothing in our SOP saying we can't do that.
Correct.
Some sites do.
Oh yeah,
Some sites have SOPs that they're not allowed to.
interesting.
Yep.
So from a working standpoint and from a business standpoint, keeping your CRA, as you mentioned, is happy because they're more likely to recommend you.
Yeah.
But I think just being pleasant in general is a good step. in the
I
right
think the most
direction.
important thing you can do is actually do good work and
Sure.
answer queries and action items. Don't leave the action items unresolved for like 4
Okay,
monitoring visits.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say a site's good in that regard, right?
Answering action
They
items.
do their job well,
Yeah.
right? But they're horrible people, right? Like, you just can't stand these people, right? Like, they're assholes, for lack of a better word, right? So that also pulls away from your
Yeah.
want to recommend them.
I would be
So-
scared that I'm going to get thrown under the bus at any
Or
moment.
just having to deal with them in the future again, should you...
If it's unpleasant, yes.
Exactly, so I think,
I want my monitoring visits to be pleasant, but I also want them to be
and the
as
word
easy as possible.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? So I think you need to be pleasant, right? Which as a person you should be to your fellow human being, and do good work, right?
So someone made an interesting comment, and I want to ask why. So nothing wrong with feeding a CRA. Now gifts are not seen as a POS thing to send to CRAs. So I don't know what, maybe positive, not as a positive thing to send. I don't know. It's like if you build a rapport with the CRA and become friends, which actually happened to us a few times.
Sure.
We've actually become friends with a couple CRAs.
Oh yeah, I get pictures of their family and...
Yeah, do you not give your friends Christmas gifts?
So this one particular
holiday gift?
CRA, I've never given them a gift, but
I'm trying to think if I ever gave a CRA gift. I don't think I have.
But we communicate on a more, personal level, opposed to professional.
Maybe cards. Maybe like positive is what I thought you said. Okay, I've never done that, but I mean, I think it's worth trying. Maybe, I don't know. Handwritten card could be okay. Here's what I don't think anyone does: is a thank you note handwritten by the coordinator. It's as if you really want to kiss ass after their visit to them. Mailed.
I think if you want to,
Is that overboard?
A little. So I would think at holidays to give them like a holiday card, Christmas, something like that.
I'm just trying to think of strategies for our sites because we're about to enter a period with a lot of studies, and we need to keep these monitors happy.
Sure.
So holidays.
Whatever you're doing, you can't look as though you're trying to bribe the CRA.
Right.
Is the point.
Right. You could be a nice person.
Sure, but that's why I'm saying like a Christmas card, right?
Yeah.
Because people give Christmas cards, so what's wrong with giving your CRAs a Christmas card?
Feeding CRAs. I remember every site used to do that, and now it's like almost no site does that anymore.
Right.
Do we feed our CRAs here?
No.
No? Do we offer?
So when I go to get lunch, I'll just ask, I'm going to so-and-so,
And they always say no.
yeah, would you like me to get you anything while I'm there? No, thank you.
Okay. So any other strategies you think, other than doing good work? I mean, by the way, that's the hardest thing. And if you do cards or tactics, but your work sucks, it's not going to work.
No. But you're working.
These are not shortcuts.
But, okay, let's say...
One of my site coordinators drove me to my airport bus. Wow. That's big time.
Nice. I would do
See,
that,
I've been
though.
coordinating so long, I don't remember like all the nice things I did.
I would do that, though.
I think I've done something like that.
So, let me give you two options. Which site would you recommend in this case, right?
Make sure they have a space printer, a trash can, and a huge surge protector. Makes any CRA happy.
Don't know why you need a surge protector. Well, okay.
They must have a lot of stuff they're charging.
Well, surge protector is more if like power goes out or if you get a surge of energy, right, for lightning. So
Oh, okay.
don't really need that here.
Very specific for this person.
But middle of the country or East Coast, that might be more necessary.
Okay.
So here, which would you choose, right? Site does perfect work, like literally perfect work, right? Not to the point where you suspect fraud, but very good work.
Yeah.
Can't stand it.
Like every action item's resolved.
Yeah. EDC, everything's entered, day of visit, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you can't stand the people there, right? Literally can't stand them. Or you got a site that their works like a little below mediocre, right? A little below average for the study, but you enjoy the people there. Which one are you recommending?
The one I enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I'm a human being.
Yes, that's why.
Not a robot.
That's why I think you need to be pleasant. You also, like you said, you can't have horrible work, but you could have.
Yeah, you can't have horrible work and be pleasant. Believe us, it's a strategy we've tried.
It doesn't work.
Not intentionally, but it does not work.
So you need to have at least mediocre work and be pleasant.
That's the bar. I think you just set the bar. That's the bar, okay? If you can surpass it, you're good. If you hit yourself in the head,
if you meet it,
you're not good.
If you meet it, you're okay.
So, mediocre work,
pleasant,
but make up for it with being pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
But that means everyone has to be pleasant.
Sure.
The receptionist greeting you.
Yep.
They can't make you sit in the waiting room for 10 minutes before they go call the coordinator.
Nope. Or when you need help with something, right? They have an
At my
issue.
sites, I even stopped going in the receptionist area. I just go straight through.
You don't even
Because
say
one of them was making me wave, and I just go through. Because one of them made me wait 15 minutes twice in a row, and I was like, I don't have time for this. So now I go in, I wave, I smile, and I walk in, and they're okay with it. I go straight to the coordinator. But so everyone has to be on the same page for this to work.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Copier, phone, tablet, extra phone, always made a difference while at my site. Action items resolved as expected.
But why do you need a phone?
This person brings a computer, phone, tablet, and an extra phone. Wow, that's a lot of YouTube. I'm just kidding. I know you're probably working hard. I guess when you travel, you bring all your devices.
Sure.
I don't know. I just have my laptop and my phone when I go. Even when I'm traveling.
Well, a lot of CRAs, they'll bring scanners, though you have a phone, they can do that now.
I have an app now that can, but again, it's your SOPs. Some
Sure.
CROs don't allow that.
They'll bring a hotspot, just in case the internet goes out or the internet's horrible at the site.
So now, it's less important to make a CRA happy at a site selection visit, but one of the things you can do to make them upset is make them wait.
Sure.
We have experience with this too.
Yes, we do. Recently experienced.
Yeah, the PI makes them wait longer than they expected. Now they're worried about missing their flight.
Like an hour longer.
Yeah, and now they're worried about missing their flight, so they're upset at you, and they have to recommend you. It's not good. It doesn't work in your favor as a site.
No, of course it doesn't.
Right, so make sure your PIs understands the importance.
Well, I mean, just like with anything else in life, you need it to go as smoothly as possible to have your best opportunity.
Right.
Right? I mean, you go to a job interview, and this is essentially what this is, right? Site selection visit is essentially a job interview.
We're doing our monitor is very nice today for a site selection visit. Okay, so other thing, just to wrap up this episode. So how to keep CRAs happy, and then a teaser for the next episode / video. But let me get to the comments first. If phase 1 studies, you can be at a site for a week at a time, so I carry all kinds of electronics. Fair enough. I've only monitored a phase 1 study once for one visit, and it looked like an impossible thing to do. So kudos to you. I understand now all the devices. So that's how to keep a CRA happy. Any other strategy? No? It's pretty simple. Use common sense and have at least mediocre work.
Be pleasant.
Be pleasant. Yeah. Okay, next thing, and we'll wrap up. This will be a teaser for the next one, but we met someone, a client of ours today, and he does something that I've been wanting to do, and I have dabbled with it a little, but not to the extent where like we're building and training staff to do this. It's just been me messing around. And I've been very busy, so I haven't been doing this lately.
Well, not exactly. We've sent gifts.
Yeah, so speaking of gifts, so now this is totally different. This is for sites and how to follow up with study leads, right? So when you're given a lead, most people just copy and paste the email, copy and paste an email that they send. They don't know anything about this person and they hit send. We do that. I do that. Most people do that. Nothing wrong with that. Some people don't do anything. So that's great because that's a numbers game. But if you really want to go the extra mile, I think it can give you maybe a 10% greater success rate long term.
Sure.
And it probably is worth it long term if you can train the staff, is to stalk these people on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, PubMed, Google them, read about their bio, look at where they went to school, find something that you share in common.
So you don't mean
I don't mean go outside their house,
stalk,
like behind their bushes.
And peep in their windows and
No.
This is air quote stalk, right?
Air quote stalk, but get to know who they are. And now with social media, it's never been easier.
Sure.
So you could go on, first of all, everyone in research has a LinkedIn, okay? Now from there, you can get their education, how many years they've done research. If there's someone like a doctor or someone who is a project director, you can actually look them up on clinicaltrials.gov or on PubMed and see if what kind of work they've been involved in, right? You can find something. LinkedIn is a great place to start. Google, of course, but then go to Twitter. A lot of people tweet. Go on Instagram. Look at who they follow, what they like. That'll give you some kind of idea about what their interests are. So let's say we're trying to get a study, okay? And I get Joe Smith as my contact, who I need to email for this vaccine study, okay? So now I look up his email, and I make sure it's the same Joe Smith on LinkedIn, so I make sure he works for this company. Okay, now I get his education. Okay, maybe he didn't go to the same college as me. Maybe he knows some of the same contacts I do. That's a start. But now, let's say I go to his Instagram, and he doesn't post anything, but I can see who he follows, and he's interested in a bunch of Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So now when I email him, I can say, hey, I noticed you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and while I'm not, or if you are, or if you don't care about football, then probably you should pick something else. Try to establish some kind of a bond before you get into your sales pitch. I'm not saying it's a miracle magic wand that's going to work every single time, but I think 10% of the time, you're at least not going to get it ignored. Right? Because 90% of the time you send a pitch, ignored.
So what you're saying is...
So I think this might make it like 80% of the time.
So what you're saying, as opposed to sending a cold pitch in which there's no established rapport...
Try to build a rapport first.
Then pitch.
Then pitch. Or then they'll naturally be curious, who is this guy? Is he a lunatic?
Right.
Is he going to kill me? Or is he like, who is he? So then they're going to look. And you're going to say, oh, he's in clinical research also.
Right.
Okay, now they're going to remember me.
Sure.
Right? And I can either pitch in that same email or just wait for a response and then email back.
Mm-hmm.
Or message them on LinkedIn about the Steelers and then email them in their inbox, right? Or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Facebook's a little more for family, but Twitter's public, LinkedIn's pretty much public, Instagram too.
So your sports, the example you gave for Pittsburgh Steelers, seems to me that would work the best, right? Because you could just send an email, say, hey, I saw the Steelers drafted so-and-so this year. I think that'll serve us well. I think Steelers could be playoff bound, right? And that could be your email.
That's right.
That's it.
That could be good.
And the response would be, yeah, I think so. By the way, who are you?
So this person said, how would you make the initial contact using LinkedIn, especially site selection folks? So this is assuming that I'm going on clinicaltrials.gov, I'm looking for studies I'm interested in, or I'm getting leads from a colleague at another site and say, hey, you should email this guy. So what I would do before I email him or her, I would go on LinkedIn, okay? And on LinkedIn, I would connect with them. And when it says connect, the default LinkedIn thing is add me to your LinkedIn connection or something like that. What you should do is erase that and write in something where you guys have something in common or something of interest to them. Figure out what they're interested in. You can do that fairly easily and quickly on using social media. And then put that in the subject line, because that's 10 times better. I love the Clippers. I love the 49ers. If somebody pitched me, but prior to that just wanted to talk about the Niners, actually someone did that 2 months ago. They're like, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo, I didn't realize you're a Niner fan. And guess what? I talked to him.
Sure.
And I remember who he was like months later.
Agreed. I think this could work. But I also think it could work against you as well. And this is why, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these people are really busy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes your window of opportunity is very limited.
Yeah.
Right? So it may not serve any purpose other than kind of aggregate. Right? You're sending me an email that I can care less about.
So maybe in the same email, include the pitch.
Maybe.
Experiment and see what works, and then do more of that. And
Right.
there's different personality types, so this may not. And again, I'm not saying this is like a miracle. I just think it could increase your chances maybe 10%, which is huge.
Fine.
Right?
I think, like you said, trial and error is probably your best. If you're gonna implement this, trial and error.
Yeah, and actually figure out like what you're interested in, and don't try to fake it. Like if you don't know anything about football, don't talk to them about football. But figure something out. You know, college, major. Maybe they wrote an article. LinkedIn people write articles. People share articles. People comment on articles. Maybe you can comment on an article. I don't know. It's just extra. A little bit of extra work can go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Certainly.
And one of our clients is doing that.
Yeah.
And it's something I've dabbled with too.
And he gave examples of how it's worked.
And how he gets ignored also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had the same experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You have not tried this? Yeah, I think I'm gonna get into it a little bit and train a few people on how to do those. Maybe they can just gather the intel and then let me know, and then I can pitch.
Yeah.
Alright, so any more questions? No. I know this is going on Instagram. What else, Chris? Closing remarks. How are you going to do in this SSV? Are you going to be active?
I'll do fine. We'll see how the doctor does.
Yeah, but what is your strategy? Are you going to be active? Are you going to be letting the doctor answer the questions? And I haven't even thought of my strategy because I'm here today too.
Well,
if I see him bombing, I'm going to get involved.
Sure, of course. But before he goes in the door, I'm going to talk to him a
Yeah,
moment or two.
We'll go out there.
And just say, hey, so we improve on our last site selection visit, keep it to what you know if you can.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Thank you everyone on Instagram. Thank you YouTube and episode 146 of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. I'll catch you all later. Thank you, Chris, and take care.